Hello, test 1, 2, 3. Hello and welcome to the AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup. It's a very simple mission here for Singapore. They need to do something they haven't done in a while, and that is score more than 2 or 3 goals. Actually, they beat Myanmar 6-2 this year, so we do know that they can score, but they had Iksan Fandi that day. They do not have their current international top scorer.
They do have some important players back, like the Irfan back in central defence, having served his suspension. Hassan Sani comes into goal, replacing Zaiful Nizam. Then you got Ilhan up front. He seems to have made the lineup after there's a bit of an issue from the last match, picking up that injury.
สบายดีทุกท่านที่เกียรติมาในงานขอต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่สนามกีฬาแห่งชาติสังคมซึ่งเป็นการจัดมาในที่เจ้าภาพอาเซียนประจำปี2022ซึ่งเป็นการพบกันระหว่างทีมชาติสิงคโปร์พบกับทีมชาติลาว
Welcome to the National Stadium for today's match of AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup 2022 in Vientiane, Laos. Match between Singapore and Laos.
หลายสิ่งที่เป็นสิ่งที่ของทีมชาติลาวก็มีหมายเลข1คือไซเซโซหมายเลข2พุทธวงศ์ศักดิ์สิทธิ์หมายเลข4อนันตนาศรีวงศ์พันธ์หมายเลข5อัปปนาโตเกหมายเลข7อนุสรณ์ไซสุญญาหมายเลข5โจลีแวนเฟสเซอร์หมายเลข17สุขภาพวงศ์เกียรติธรรมหมายเลข19อนุสิทธิ์การจนาศรีหมายเลข3เอกมัยนาฏจักรหมายเลข10พิทักษ์ของวาทิตาและหมายเลข13อาจารย์เกียรติธรรมส่วนผู้เล่นสำรองก็คือหมายเลข12แก้วเรวสุวรรณสังสุหมายเลข18ไซสวาหมายเลข3พรศักดิ์แสงสว่างหมายเลข6จันทิชัยพุทธิพรหมายเลข8พนมกิติพักดีหมายเลข9อีพรสุวรรณีหมายเลข10สุขจันทร์เรืองนาหมายเลข13อินดันศรีสุวรรณหมายเลข14จุลเพชรมงคลหมายเลข16ก้าเพชรศรีวิไลและหมายเลข22ดูเรียนบุญสวัสดิ์ส่วนประธานผู้ช่วยการงานในวัยผู้จัดการทีมทางสมุทรเรียนสวัสดิ์ และ ตุ้มเลยจ้ะวางมือได้เลยแล้วมือยกปั๊บปากเลยปั๊บยิงบนเก่าอ่ะมันอยู่ที่ตักมาลงที่แล้วว่าบ้านมีก็ว่ามันจะต้องเกิดตัวมันตักเลยไปโดนเกียร์ตู้โดนลุกก่อนนอนบอลสิตู้ยืนจะยืนจึ๊บนอนวาดยังใครมาถอยมากกันเชียวเราออกไปยืนหับไปเสร็จหมดเลยคิดได้กับใครบ้างเพื่อลงให้เราลุกไปได้รอลุกระวังเพื่อได้ยืนต่างมันอยู่เรื่อยดีไรบ้างตารางคือเปลี่ยนใหม่เลยตารางคือว่าเป็นไงดูมาเดี๋ยวดูไปเอากอบเดี๋ยวเขาดอกใจตึมการตีแข็งมันออกแล้ว
We are at the National Stadium KM16 in Vientiane, the capital of Laos, who are in action this evening against Singapore in the AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup 2022. Singapore have had just the one game so far where they edged out Myanmar 3-2 in their opening game at the Jalan Besar Stadium. As for Laos, they have lost both their matches by big margins. They started off against Vietnam, 6-0 losers, and then against Malaysia, 5-0 was the scoreline there. Vietnam are playing Malaysia later on this evening. That's going to be a big clash in Group B. And so for Laos, they've talked about wanting to restore some pride, about going on the offensive today. And it's a proud moment for this man here, the skipper of the side, Sukapon, who is going to equal his country's all-time appearance record today. But he's got other things in mind. He wants to show what Laos football can do. Not much of a crowd on the opposite stand that we're facing. A little bit more perhaps under the shade, away from the harsh sun. Haris Harun, skipper of Singapore, knows that not only do Singapore have to aim for a win today, but it's goals, goals, goals. With me here in the commentary position, Rish Roshan Rai. And it sounds like a fairly simple equation for Singapore, but quite often things prove a lot harder in reality.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, they do come into this as a side who are favourites, should be favourites going into this match. And you're quite right to mention that it's not just the 3 points they should be after, but they should be after goals as well, especially when you look at Laos and the results that they've suffered in their opening two matches. The likes of Vietnam and Malaysia have looked at it as opportunities to improve on their goal difference, which is something that could come in handy as the tournament goes on. And so for Singapore, the message is the same, and you expect to see improvement as well. You know, they weren't at their best against Myanmar. Somehow, even playing with the advantage of an extra player, they were hanging on. But hang on they did. Myanmar weren't able to make the most of the opportunities. And Singapore were able to pick up 3 points at home and in their first match in the competition. So that should give them a little bit of confidence coming into this one. And it's time now for them to step out onto this pitch and show why they are coming into this game as favourites and why they should be considered serious contenders for the title come the end of this campaign.
Singapore have met Laos 6 times previously in this competition. They've won all 6 of them. The last meeting was a 7-goal thriller, which Singapore managed to just about win 4-3, thanks to Fazrul Nawaz scoring the decisive goal in 2012. And prior to that, those of you who are keen followers of this competition may recall Singapore's 11-goal hammering of Laos, in which Noor Alam Shah got 7 goals. Can you turn that clock back, Roshan? Can you remember that one?
Yeah, of course, remember it quite well. A very different time for Singapore football as well, and let's see what this current crop can do in this competition and up against this version of Laos.
ประธานแขกผู้มีเกียรติทานยินดีทางซ้ายกรุณายืนขึ้นเพื่อเคารพธงชาติสิงคโปร์
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up for the national anthem of Singapore.
ลำดับต่อไปขอเสริมมาตรฐานเข้ารบทุ่งซานลาว
And next, please stand up for the national anthem of Laos.
There's Michael Weiss, who has been assured by the Laotian Football Federation that his job is perfectly safe after those two heavy defeats. As we look at the lineup now, I was going to tell you prior to this that in fact there was going to be two changes today for Laos, but in fact from their last match, which they lost of course to Malaysia, but we can tell you that there has been a very last minute change, and that's because the goalkeeper that was going to come on has been injured in the warm-up, and so therefore he cannot take part, and that was going to be a debut for Punin. Unfortunately, he is injured, so Kyo Udon comes back into the side. Pantana also starts ahead of Manolom. Singapore make a whopping 6 changes from the 5 changes, I should say, excuse me, from the side that beat Myanmar. In today come Hassan Sani, the goalkeeper, and Irfan Fani. They return from suspension. Nazrul Nazari at wing back, Song Wei Young, as well as Joshua Pereira and Zulfami Arifin. What do you make of those lineups then, Roshan?
Yeah, I think for Laos with Michael Weiss and a squad that he has, not too much of an opportunity to make too many changes and still maintain a certain level of quality. It's going to be a huge test for their conditioning levels, for their fitness levels coming into this one, having already played some very difficult games against Vietnam and Malaysia. A huge test for the legs of this Laotian side. Bit of a shame that Funin had to leave the starting 11 after picking up that injury during the warm-up. Bit of a shame for him, that young man, as you mentioned, would have been making his debut on the international stage. And for Singapore, chance to use that squad, a chance to make those changes, keep players fresh for the challenges that lie ahead. There's experience here in this side with Zulfami and Sharan in central midfield. The two of them will be expected to control the tempo of the game for Singapore. Then you have Song Ayong back in the starting 11, and he gives them lots and lots of energy in those attacking areas. Ilhan will look to carry on with this run of goal-scoring form that he's been in recent weeks. And then Irfan coming back along with Hassan Sani in goal. So there's a lot of experience, there's quality right through the spine of this Singapore side.
So the two huddles then before we get underway. Singapore then, to reiterate, 6 changes there. Just one now for Laos, who are looking to avoid yet another heavy defeat. What they can take comfort from is they've had a very tight first half generally. And in fact, Malaysia's goals only started pouring in after the 65th minute.
That's right.
In the game in Malaysia.
Yeah, and that's something that if you're Singapore as well, you remind the players to, not panic in those situations.
Right.
Understand that there's a pattern here, but you have to play at a good tempo. You have to sort of make Laos run. You have to make them chase, so that eventually, when it does get into the latter stages of the game, they start to tire. That fatigue starts to set in. But that'll be down to you to sort of make sure that they play at a tempo that they're not used to playing at usually. And with this Singapore side, they should be fresh. They had that game against Myanmar just a couple of days ago, but they've made those 6 changes that you mentioned. And even the players who started that match didn't play for very long. The likes of Faris played one half. Ilhan played about 53 minutes or so. So the only 2 players in this 11. Now, Hafiz Noor also played just one half of that game. Yep. So these players should be fresh. The only 2 players who, played all the way through that game were Shadan and Haris.
Yeah.
So the rest of these players should be fresh, they should be fit, and they should be ready to go.
Yeah, another thing to note, of course, this is the oldest squad, Singapore, averaging more than 28 years of age, up against Laos, who average 22, and in fact the bulk of their squad formed the under-23 team that actually did very well earlier this year in the AFF competition. They finished third, which perhaps raised some eyebrows as well. Fantastic performance from them. Comes off Haris. He's one of their stalwarts of this side, who last year had a bout of COVID just before the tournament, but came back into the team, that made all the way to the semi-finals and were dramatically knocked out by Indonesia. Nazrul Nazari filling in at left back. He's preferred today over Chris van Huysen. Well, that's far too easy to get through. And the crowd got temporarily excited there.
There's a good start from Laos, controlling things in possession, looking really good. Passing along, finding those spaces opened up there. Irfan far too casual. Should be really thankful that Haris just stepped in with the challenge.
This is Patana, who came in today ahead of Manolom. Yes, it's a good possession, good start here from Laos. Back to Patana on this right-hand side. Advian Kam closed down quickly.
Yeah, it just looks like Advian Kam is playing ahead of Patana, the number 5, moving into his position at right back. Advian Kam being asked to play ahead of him. Advian Kam started Laos' last 2 games playing at right back for them. Was replaced by Patana against Malaysia. We get to see the both of them on the right-hand side.
Nazrul Nazari with the throw-in, looking at Ilhan Fandi. Felt that perhaps he might have got a little bit of a nudge. No place still for Billy Ketkyo, who's injured. The first Southeast Asian to have played in French top flight. He rushed through his naturalization last year. Hasn't really, though, contributed despite the reputation he came with. Shadan not able to control the ball there.
On the away side, taking some time to get going here. Now starting the brighter of the two. Looking very comfortable in possession. And moving it quickly. Well, that was better from Irfan this time, making sure he got to the ball. Kept a hold of it. It was fouled by Ekamai.
So for those who are just watching casually, perhaps, in terms of Singapore needing goals today, they'd be asking, could they not have maybe a far more offensive lineup and not have 3 at the back and play a 4-4-2? How would you respond to something like that? A question like that?
Well, you can be offensive even with 3 at the back. That's a great challenge by Nalong Sid. He's taken a boot to his face. Let's have a look at that for his troubles. Painful one for Nalong Sid. It's a good, strong challenge though. Completely accidental. I've had that happen to me as well. Got a back heel in the forehead.
Ball launched forward. There's a few Laotian players up there with him. Advan Kamp. Josh Pereira in the way. And that's when you depend on your wing backs to really do a job though as well,
just
right?
going back to how you can be attacking with a back three. You know, you push your players forward, your wing backs get into advanced areas, as they're doing here. You see the two just sit in front of the back three in Zulfami and Sharan will be those deep lying playmakers, and then you still have 5 going up front. So you kind of protect yourself from a counter attack because you've got those numbers and those bodies in those defensive areas as well. Lovely
Oh, that's lovely. Superb play there from Faris Rumley. Singapore perhaps now getting into this. Laos, though, it's been an encouraging start. Probably the most encouraging one they've had so far.
Yeah, but this is a very good turn by Faris. Smart leave by Song Yong as well. Just let it run into part of Faris Rumley. Needed better with the cutback. Seeing this Laos side playing with some flair, we just saw Anuson lifted over the head of a Singapore player.
Michael Weiss had promised that today they had nothing to lose and that they would therefore be more offensive. He's lived up to what he said. That is not best concentration there from Hafiz Noor. Nishigaya, Takayuki Nishigaya had said they cannot underestimate any opposition. They don't dare do that.
He was singing along to the national anthem, Singapore national anthem, or at least mouthing the words to it. It's interesting.
It's unusual.
It is unusual. Trying to endear himself to the Singapore fans out there, I guess.
There have been quite a few critics since his appointment. No international experience in the past. Not too much club experience either, of any note. Hassan Sani, safe pair of hands. Now he's just taking a bit of a connection there from Ekamai.
Against Anuson, who has been very good for Laos. Games that we've seen so far. I mean, Hassan's invited, the goalkeeper's invited Ekamai to actually have a go there. As he's dropped the catch the first time. It's there to be won from Ekamai. Hassan gets his gloves on it the second time of asking. But there's no issue if he gets a clean catch of it as the cross from Anuson comes in.
Yeah, by far Singapore's most experienced goalkeeper. Has been was absolutely superb in that last tournament.
Singapore here, you're just looking to build with the 5 against the 4 of Laos in midfield.
Having a quick look at his watch. Lots of time here for Singapore. As they look to build again, as you mentioned there. Song Woo-young. Now Shadan Sulaiman. Out wide to Hafiz Noor. Low cross in. Get that away from their captain.
Yeah, because you've got Zulfami and Shadan, the 2 central midfielders, sitting in front of the back 3. Song drifting in off the left side, or Faris drifting in off the right in those narrow positions. Going to be important in terms of helping to link the play just through the center of the pitch.
Yeah, Shah Shahiran dropped for this one, and Zulfami Arifin preferred. What does he bring to the table ahead of Shah? I mean, apart from the experience.
Yeah, obviously a lot more experience, but that quality in possession, he's quite calm and composed, and it also provides a little bit of balance. You've got Shadan, a right-footed player on the right side of central midfield, Zulfami, a left-footed player, occupying a space on the left. So it kind of helps the balance in that sense in terms of the distribution. You've got 2 players in there, Zulfami and Shadan, who are very good passers of the ball in central midfield. good with the long-range passing as well, and it helps in terms of the diagonal passes out to the wing backs, the switches, quick switches of play.
Yeah, he's a great distributor of the ball, isn't he, Zulfami?
Also a pretty decent threat from the set pieces.
Choni up against Hafiz Noor. Here's Haris Harun. They're first to the ball. There's the skipper, Sukafonu, draws a save out of Hassan Sani, and that's encouraging signs.
Yeah, it is. They forced the error here from Singapore. This is good pressing. Space opens up in midfield, not enough protection. That's a good effort by Sukafon, and that could have been tricky for Hassan. That little dip, that little bounce in front of him.
Reminder, he has equaled the all-time record for appearances for Laos, 54 caps today. Hafiz had made a run, option not taken. Here's Song Wei-young. Now Haris Harun. Nazrul Nazari is showing a little too much of the ball. And listen to that from the crowd. Advian Kam advancing. He's got Ekamai, who's just drifted into an offside position.
I really thought there was a chance there for Advian Kam to actually just play it into the space behind that Singapore defense. Ekamai was looking to make the run in, couldn't hold his line, hold his run. Obviously, once he gets himself into an offside position, then Advian Kam doesn't have much else of an option but to try and run with it.
Zulfami. There's Josh Pereira. Not too much international experience, but preferred today ahead of Anu, who is very experienced in comparison. And
Song with this touch, just getting his body in the way, across the challenge of Pitak. You can hear from the sidelines, advice being given not to commit any fouls in these areas. They are giving up a lot in terms of that height advantage that Singapore have over them. The big players up front, strong in the air. Singapore threat in these set-piece situations, especially with the delivery. The likes of Shadan and Zulfami.
Ilfan is certainly towering. So is Ilhan, the two Fandi brothers, without their third sibling.
Instructions very clear from the referee, no pushing, no holding.
Umar Mubarak from Oman in charge of this one. Here's Shadan. He's got great delivery. Easy for Kyo Udon. Singapore might have preferred if the first choice today.
Yeah, strange one. I mean, the run that Irfan makes here, he's not meant to be the first player to go and attack that or go and hit that. So obviously looking for a runner at the back post. The best of deliveries. We were talking about the quality that they can provide. They need to improve in those situations, Singapore.
Now Choni. Irfan. Shadan looks up. Josh Pereira advances.
Getting closed down quickly. He was looking for that option to arrive in front of him. He's having a bit of a discussion with Song. He wanted Song to show for the ball. Song wanted him to actually go the other way.
Irfan Fandi here for Singapore.
Obviously, you have with Pereira and their right-footed player on the left side of that back three.
Well, he certainly can cross a lot better than that, Hafiz Noor.
And one of his better attempts. Does have more quality than that, especially with the space he was afforded. Much better in terms of the build-up from Singapore, how they were able to play it through in behind Laos midfield. Find Faris in that space there. Top of your screen, you can see.
Here's Hafiz. Now Irfan.
going back to Pereira on the left side of the back three, the number 21 here. Obviously, when he's got the ball looking to play it forward, he's a right-footed player, so the angles and the passing is going to be very different for him.
Free kick goes Singapore's way.
Challenge put in by Ekamai. He's throwing himself about,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Ekamai is really working hard at the moment. Now Josh Pereira. Zulfami. Shadan. It's a nice take from Kyodon, who was looking to cut that out from getting to Ilhan Fundi, who you may recall was temporarily knocked out in that last game.
Yeah, it was a good claim by Kyodon. Nice positive goalkeeping. Commanded his area, eased the pressure on his defense. Ball was in the air a long time. Still, he had to come out and had to make sure he was going to get to it and hang on to it, and he did.
Here's Pereira. Song Wei-young looking to do one of his trademark driving runs. He feels he was fouled. And that looks very clearly offside for Ekamai.
Yeah, he needs to time his runs a lot better, Ekamai. The opportunity is there. If he just times it better, if he just bends his run or delays it slightly, could have been in behind. Bit of a shame. Just essentially run straight through, needs to bend his movement.
Now Singapore looking to make some inroads here. Zulfami takes a shot there. Looks like it may have taken a deflection.
His way through, what an effort. Zulfami is trying to change things up a bit. Space had opened up in front of him. He'll take a touch on its way through of Pitak, I think it was. That's right, it was Pitak. Just deflected off him.
Yeah, he's got a great left foot, hasn't he? Plenty of power in it. Zulfami. Singapore's first corner.
Get up!
That's a goal kick. He'll be pretty pleased with this so far. It's certainly been the most positive performance we've had thus far for Laos in this edition of the tournament. For Laos, Haris Harun. Nice touch on there in the middle of the park. Sulaiman is looking for some support. He looks a bit frustrated. Nazrul Nazari.
Because Laos are working hard off the ball, showing very little respect for the Singapore side in that sense. Fighting into challenges.
Ilhan showed maybe a little bit too much of the ball. Ekamai won't get that.
Good thing, by the way. Talking about with Laos showing that not too much respect to Singapore, going to those challenges, getting stuck in, getting players around.
Do you think they afforded too much of it to their other two opponents?
Yeah, I think at times that was the case. Certainly a very different performance from Laos that we're seeing in this one. We did in their first two matches.
Haris Harun has his hands up and says, I didn't do anything, and he says, look at the assistant.
There was an arm around Ekamai. Just as he had turned Haris.
angle, not so good. Viet Cong takes a shot. Crowd get excited. Now, Singapore perhaps on the break. Not that many bodies. Will the referee take any further action here? And look at Shadan. This is quite unlike him.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really poor challenge by Anuson. And Shadan picks himself up a yellow card, which is a silly one to take. That's reaction to this, and so there's Anuson.
Did he need to react like that, though?
Yeah, I don't think he needed to, but I think he's just frustrated at the fact that this is what Laos have been doing, just getting in the way. That's an awful challenge by Anuson. He's absolutely nowhere near the ball when he makes that. You can understand the frustration being shown by some of the Singapore players.
Yeah, it's completely hacked him down, hasn't he, Anuson? Who himself, as you can see from his face, put a boot to it in the last game from Faisal Halim in Malaysia. Shadan really frustrated. And I wonder if that's symptomatic of how Singapore are probably feeling at the moment.
Yes, and I mean, if they thought they were going to get a lot of time on the ball and it was going to be, they looked at the results and thought it was going to be easy. I mean, this is certainly a bit of a smack to the face for them.
Good pun there, given that it was Anuson who had the foul.
Serves as a wake-up call. You've got to take this seriously. Be complacent. Up against Laos.
Yeah, actually, Shadan, who was urging the team to build on the momentum after defeating Myanmar. And he was one of those who was actually cautioning against underestimating the opponents today. Here's Nazrul Fahmi, but they're very quickly onto the Singapore players, Laos. And they've given the ball away. Ekamai. Anuson. And he's redeemed himself there, and I think Anuson, as he just lashed out, and they're pointing out, this is the second time.
Yeah, they're trying to get him sent off, trying to get a quick second yellow card for Anuson.
Sukhafon is just trying whatever he can to tell the referee, please don't, and it looks like he's not going to. But that's probably the last time.
Yeah, his final warning. He just gets his body in the way here, Zulfami. And there is an arm around. It's almost
now, Roshan,
a close line there.
Roshan, if he hadn't got yellow earlier, wasn't that a yellow? That would be yellow on its own, wouldn't it? You're yanking back a player.
I mean, I don't think so.
No?
No.
For yanking back a player like that?
I don't think so. I don't think that's a yellow card offense. But what it is because he's already on a yellow, the extra heat is being put on by the Singapore players. Because 2 fouls in quick succession. I wouldn't have given a yellow for that. It's a foul, yeah.
Keep an eye out. Here's Song Wei-yong. He gets the free kick here, just outside the area. On the D, Nalong sit. Singapore trying to crank up the pressure here.
Well, they look fired up for this, Laos. But perhaps a little bit too fired up in certain situations. Trying to sort of find that balance. They do get those shouts from the bench saying no fouls, but they've committed a foul in a very good position for Singapore.
Shigai will be hoping this is the opportunity for their first goal. The line has been drawn. Now, we've got Shadan Sulaiman. Scored from a similar sort of position for Singapore against Indonesia in the last edition. That really got the crowd in the national stadium on their feet. It was a goal that gave them the equaliser to make it 2-2. 9-man Singapore, I should add. That was actually passing it to Kyodon.
Yeah, very simple save for Kyodon to make. Just straight down the middle. You're right, it's just passed into him essentially. There's no power on it, no direction as well. It's a towering header and a very good header by Irfan.
Flag has gone up for offside. Double the number of fouls committed by Laos so far. Have Singapore started to settle for you? Or Laos still really at their heels, nibbling away?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the two in the sense that Singapore is starting to see them string a few passes together, find those spaces in behind Laos midfield. You're starting to see moments like that happen for them. At the same time, Laos is still keeping up the pressure, still keeping up that defensive intensity, still putting themselves about going into these challenges. It was offside. It's played on to him. Ilhan. Another look at that header from Irfan. This goes right over the top of Choni and lands on him as well. There's a big size difference there.
Yeah, he was mentioned Singapore had to play with a few players sent off in that game against Indonesia. Irfan was one of them, Hassan the other, Safwan was the third. They were down to 8 men by the end of it. Well, he's going to take a bit of time here on the sidelines. Went in for that one, Zulfami. Sukapon rode the challenge, he's done well. Rafian come. Doesn't get past Josh Pereira.
Again, just going into these challenges. He's almost carrying the ball up there. Sukafon in that tackle with Zulfami.
That will be the first corner for Laos. Now, if you're looking for little patterns or stats, by this stage Malaysia had scored their first goal, so Laos will be feeling, well, it took 14 minutes to concede against Vietnam, now 28 minutes against Malaysia. Done well here so far. Amuson couldn't hold on to the ball. It's just too far away from Nazari. You can hear a lot of instructions on the sidelines.
It's also Hassan using all his experience, trying to guide his teammates along, making sure he's got things organized, talking to players, telling them where they need to be.
Now here's Irfan. Now long sit. This is Anantaza. Almost look completely different from the last two matches, the way they're playing. Ilhan. Was there some contact there, I think, with Anantaza as he went down?
Yeah, Vice is trying to tell the referee that it was an elbow from Ilhan. There was a stray arm to the face of Anantaza. And it's just one of those things. You can try and shield the ball. A natural movement of the arm. It was taken out from behind by Anantaza. That's why they've earned themselves a free kick. And he's given a yellow card to Ilhan.
Not sure that was intentional or anything like that from him. He looks exasperated by the whole thing.
You could actually hear him go, "What for?" He was given the yellow. Was that because of the arm into the face?
Yeah, I think you would imagine
Interesting
so.
one. He's won the free kick, but he's been given a yellow card.
Taza getting some treatment here.
It was a painful one for Anantaza, no doubt, but I don't think there was a swing out of the arm. I don't think there was any real intent behind it. As I look at that challenge, I love this challenge here. Sukafon going in, essentially picking up the ball with his hands there, comes away with it. It's a good challenge put in by Sukafon.
Now on, as I mentioned, 54 caps. Sanok Vieng is the man he's tied with now. Who he would have played with as well. His former teammate. It's a free header! Singapore take the lead. Well, absolutely no one challenging Irfan Fundi. And he powers that one in. Singapore 1-0 up here against Laos.
And they made great use of that height advantage. Said Singapore were going to be a threat on the set pieces. Just needed to get the delivery right. And on that occasion, they certainly did. Whipped in towards that back post. Irfan with another towering header. Past Kyo Udon. Making the most of that set piece, Singapore. You can hear the shouts from the Laos bench. No fouls, no fouls. Because they know of the threat that Singapore pose in these set piece situations. And Singapore have pounced and punished Laos for some lapse defending at the back. You can see 4 blue shirts running in to try and attack the delivery. Just one Laos defender tracking the run. The rest of the back line doesn't drop off. Good, powerful header. Excellent delivery. This time on the left foot of Zulfami. Right into the run of Irfan. They've got their opening goal.
Yeah, we talked about the wonderful delivery that Zulfami has. Irfan Fundi, he's a very good header of the ball. Now, let's see how Singapore can progress this. Irfan with just the second goal for his country.
That's a blow for Laos. I mean, see how much of a blow this is, because they were really getting stuck into some of these challenges, really showing Singapore that they were here to play and to be taken seriously. Now Singapore have that opener. You expect the game now, again, talk about game states. The game will change. You can see quite clearly the height advantage that Singapore have in these situations.
Remember, Malaysia got that first goal. And it took till the 65th minute to get the second. Referee being very clear what he wants to see and not see.
Just to be clear, I was having a chuckle at what the referee was saying, not you. In case.
That's okay, I'm used to it.
Okay.
No hands, he said, the referee. It's away by Choni. Well, that would have been quite special from Song Leong.
That's a good header by Choni. An important header away. It's whipped in at pace by Zulfami.
Not the best of balls from Hafiz Noor.
Yeah, the wing backs haven't been very effective for Singapore so far this evening. On either side, Nazrul on the left, Hafiz Noor on the right.
Yeah.
None of them have really offered too much so far.
So Anuson is going off. He was in the thick of it in terms of challenges earlier. Could have got a second, perhaps. Shake of the head. Wonder if that's not more precautionary or anything else. Chantapisai comes on to replace him, who's been fairly regular in this tournament.
Well, listen, this is something we've seen from Michael Weiss, these early changes that he's made. made 2 of them against Malaysia around the same sort of time in this first half. Didn't really do much to help. Let's see how this gets restructured. It looks like an extra player in midfield with Chanta Visai coming on, and number 6 in there. He'll sit in alongside Pitak. Sukaphon just looks to have dropped off. Play that holding midfield role, it looks like. So seems to be for Laos 4-1-4-1 when they don't have the ball. Extra body in midfield for Michael Weiss.
I mentioned earlier that the Laotian Football Federation had said that his position is very safe indeed. They reiterated they signed a 2-year contract with him and they want to see how things develop. Though quite often when that kind of thing happens, it can be the kiss of death, but let's see. There has to be context, of course, in those hammerings that they've been on the end of. This very young squad of theirs, which Sukaphon talked about post-match against Malaysia. Very quick to point that out. There's a lot of inexperience here, but they are building something at the moment. No foul. Losing the ball, Sukaphon here. Ilhan, that's a great turn. And they'll get a corner. Just showed a little too much of the ball. He's hurt himself in the process.
Yeah, nice idea with the turn. Just got away from him a little bit. That's good pressing by Hafiz Noor. Really smart turn by Ilhan. It's a bit too much on it. Allowing Kyodon to step in. They have earned themselves a corner.
He's a smart player, isn't he, Ilhan?
He is.
Recently voted Young Player of the Year in Singapore Premier League. Also got to the Team of the Year and also got Goal of the Year. So he's really had a breakout season this year.
Yeah, he tries things up front, Ilhan. He's very clever, very smart, intelligent footballer. And tries to make things happen and just bring something out of the ordinary, something defenders aren't expecting.
He's got this cheeky element to him, doesn't he? And he's just signed with Deinze in the second tier of Belgian football. He'll join them after this tournament, which potentially means that we might not see too much of him in future editions of the AFF Championship. Normally it doesn't fall within a FIFA window. Harris has to stay strong. Ekamai's been physical today. And he's saying that Harris was also grabbing hold of him.
I don't mind that at all. Both players really just hanging on to each other. It was a bit of a shirt tuck from Harris. There was also Ekamai pulling Harris down along with him.
Josh Pereira. Now Zulfami. Singapore nearly love a second before half-time. Nazrul. Song Woo-young. Shadan. Fun with a low ball in. Here's Pereira. Small, trying to stay on his feet. Adviekam, away by Patana. A mishit there from Harris. It's a foul by Pereira.
Just immediately apologizes to the referee. Not a bad foul to give away. Had turned there, Pitak. Space in front of him to try and push on into. Slows it down, allows the rest of his teammates to get back into their defensive shape. Stops a potential counter from Laos. And that's shoulder into the back. That's a clear foul.
Launched forward by Anantaza. No fun there to intercept. Ball put into the area. Irfan there again. Oh, he flaps at that one a little bit. Hassan Sani goes over him. Nazrul's done well. Here's Ilhan. He's held up the ball very well. Faris Rumley. There's the kind of thing he can do. Ilhan Fandi feels that was frustration for him. He thought maybe that could be a corner.
The quality of the cross wasn't good enough here from Faris. It's just far too much on it, way too deep for Ilhan to do anything with. It's a shame because it was actually a pretty good move from the back. You just saw Nazrul initially carry it forward and Song playing a long pass forward into Ilhan. Hung on to it, waiting for that support to arrive. So enough quality at the end with the final cross into the area.
4 attempts now from Singapore. 2 on target. They've got that all-important goal, but they certainly want more. Now Irfan. Hafiz Noor. He's going to put a cross in. Don't get any kind of touch on that. They're asking for the corner. They'll get it, Singapore. What have you made of him today? Because he didn't play at all in that last game, and perhaps people were wanting him to get on the pitch.
Thinking again, he's looking to try and make something happen. You can see that last touch coming off Patana, off his shoulder. He's looking to always add energy into the Singapore side. Something I mentioned is his strength and his power, ability to go box to box, essentially, Song.
It's not an easy header. Josh Pereira.
He has to move back towards the delivery away from goal. And much better the marking here from Laos. It's nice and tight. It's actually 2 players following him. Pereira. Irfan wanted a penalty. The referee was right there. Didn't see anything wrong with it.
Zulfami. Up towards Faris Rumley. He's come across to this left-hand side momentarily. That's how much time we get. There was a little stoppage at the start of this game. Pereira. Too much on that ball. And now Ekamai on his own, waiting for some support here. Laos trying to pour numbers forward. They're going to take the shots. That wasn't all that far away. Well, he gave it a go, Choni.
I thought they were in trouble there, Singapore. This was a really good counter-attack from Laos. Get forward quickly. That support arrives from Choni as well. He was close there. Hassan here, he just turns around and he's hoping that it doesn't sneak in at the far post. Good decisions being made by Ekamai. carry it forward, didn't panic, didn't try and take it on his own. Didn't try and do too much with it. That support released it into Chonny. Decent effort in the end.
Shadan. Not managed to keep that in. Hafiz Noor.
Well, he didn't need to make the run in field. He didn't need to. You know, Ilhan was there. And that's where the space was for him out wide. That's where the pass was going to go next. That's your job. You maintain that width. You hang on to it. Ilhan will lay it off to you. Take a touch. The numbers are there in the box and the good quality cross in.
You mentioned earlier that you felt the two Singapore wing-backs haven't really done the business in this first half.
They haven't contributed much on either side.
We've got Chris Van Huysen and Ryan Stewart on the bench. Hamza, potential eruption. Bench to see what Singapore do. There was a triple change at the end of the break, at the start of the second half, I should say, in the last game from Takayuki Nishigaya. Well, Singapore at least wanted to take the lead, I'm sure, at the end of the first half. They've done that through Irfan Fundi, but there have been some very, very positive signs from Laos.
There have been some really positive signs from Laos. You know, they are going forward at times, especially in these counter-attacking situations. They've caused a couple of issues for that Singapore back line, and Singapore in possession and getting closed down quickly by Laos. I don't think Singapore have really got into their usual rhythm in this match, but they are going into the break with that goal lead, taking advantage of the set-piece situations, and Irfan getting a good goal with a towering header there to put Singapore in the lead. But there's still a lot of room for improvement in the second half, and you can expect with just a goal in it, Laos will be encouraged by their performance in the first half, and will be encouraged by Michael Weiss to carry on in the second.
So there's the man who scored the only goal so far, Irfan Fundi, with a powerful header. Michael Weiss is pretty happy with it so far. You can see he's encouraging his players off the field. This is certainly the liveliest they've been thus far. Singapore's next aim, of course, in the second half is to add to that tally. For now, though, they'll be at least satisfied they have got the lead here. That would have been the bare minimum expectations they'd have set themselves. It's Laos 0, Singapore 1.
เด้อตุ้มปัดเลยก่อนนะ เ
big discussions in the Singapore camp, trying to figure out what to do next. It doesn't appear as if there are any changes for them, nor for Cambodia. The skipper perhaps asking for some divine intervention, see if Laos can get their first win of the competition. But they've been good value so far, just trailing by the Irfan Fundi header around the half-hour mark. No changes then for either side at the break, Roshan.
Yeah, not really surprised. I think both coaches will be quite happy with the way things have gone. Michael Weiss, we saw just as the players were going off at half-time, seemed really fired up, very happy with the performance of his team, and rightly so. I'm quite proud of the work that they've done so far. And I think for Singapore as well, they perhaps weren't as good as they can possibly be, but they're in the lead. I don't think our coach Nishigaya would have seen anything to be really overly concerned with. Just try and organize things with what he's got out there for the moment.
Here's Advian Kam. He's had a couple of good moments on that right-hand side for Laos.
Up, one goal, satu keluar.
They're coming in with that energy again, Laos. Oh, that's a great shot! That rocks the crossbar. And Laos aim to start the second half as they did the first.
Yeah, really good intensity shown by Laos. Coming close with that effort. Hassan was actually shouting at Harris not to commit a foul, not to give away a free kick. He almost wished he had. A shot that was fired in by Pitak. Plenty of power behind it. It's not quite the dip at the end. Get it past Hassan. Really decent effort at goal by Pitak. This will just give the home side more and more encouragement.
That's about as close as they have come to scoring so far in the tournament. Ilhan, touch on. There's Choni. Sukapon. There's Advian Kam. The man who came on, Chanta Visai, as a substitute in the first half for Anuson. These are very bright starts, aren't they?
Yeah, and again, he's just there's no let up for Laos. He wants them to push high up against the Singapore side. Wants to put them under pressure. And they've made Singapore look nervous at times, Laos. Just with the pace of their play.
That's a heavy touch on from Song Leong. Chanta Visai. Across to Putavong. Fine. Switches it away. It's not the greatest pitch in the world, this one. We saw how it acted up against Vietnam. Of course, we love passing that ball around. And they adapted.
Oh, they certainly did.
It took a while though, didn't it? They also
Yeah.
kind of laboured. Perhaps Singapore need the Park Hang-seo treatment. He stepped off his bench, made his intentions clear. He wasn't happy.
The difference between Vietnam in that game and, you know, yes, it didn't look very slick in possession first half, but they were still in control of the match. You know, they weren't looking like they were under any sort of threat.
Not like here, Choni. Done well there to win the ball back, Singapore now. On the counter, perhaps they could do something here. Faris Ramli. Some wheels just looked a little out of sorts. Irfan choosing not to go in hard early. Solid there. Now Ilhan.
Clever. Very smart bit of play.
Hafiz Noor, that's a good ball through. Can they finish here? They should be able to. Oh, it's cleared off the line by Faris Ramli's attempts. And that really should be number 2. And Ilhan's furious.
Well, he wanted it on the rebound, the second attempt to be clipped towards the back post where he was standing. Lovely first touch by Faris. That's a great challenge put in. Gets fortunate with the rebound going his way. But again, that goal line clearance. I think it was the number 4, Anantaza. Just got himself back on the goal line. Need to go high here, perhaps, Faris. But what a great challenge that was by Anantaza. Great block off the line.
Kyodon following up with the save. Singapore ought to have made that too. Referee spotting a lot of jostling around. I like the fact that he's been very vocal, this referee.
It's been the same message.
Yeah.
Well, he's been consistent in his messaging. No holding, no pushing. He's looking at everyone.
Yeah.
And at every corner, he's been adamant. That's his message. He's repeated his message. Oh, there was an elbow. It looked there from Patana into Haris. A strange thing for Patana to do.
Right
in front of the referee.
There's quite the lecture going on here.
Such a strange one.
Why would you take that chance? And Josh Pereira is also saying he's being held
The
back.
Singaporean players are holding on to each other. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's a strong hand from Kyodon. Pretty good game so far. Song Wei-young. Get past Advian Kam. Gets the cross in instead. There it comes off the arm of Faris Ramli. Singapore will feel. It was a very, very good opportunity earlier, spurned.
That's better from Song. Gets himself a bit of space to swing across in. Again, Irfan just winning everything in the air.
It was on the counter that Singapore caused problems earlier. It's Laos at the moment who've been pressing forward. Hafiz Noor with the header. Solid challenge in. Well, Hafiz.
Sadam belakang. Up.
Shanta Visai. Yes, Sukafon. Play that into Pitak. Now Ekamai. Shot is closed down by Zulfami.
Listen, there's a real sense here that you feel a goal coming from Laos. It wouldn't surprise me if they were the side to go on and get the next one.
All been very different a couple of minutes ago. That second one got in. Just wonder whether, again, the complexion of the game would have changed. Ekamai. Still Ekamai. That might go up for a corner. It is nervy at the back, isn't it?
There's shades of Singapore's defensive performance against Myanmar, where they were all over the place, they're just hanging on. They looked nervous as well. It's a good run from Ekamai. Joshua Pereira just completely getting caught underneath the flight of that pass. It's come off him last. It's going to be a corner for Laos. Ekamai's had a good game up front. He's been lively, willing runner.
Hassan gets rid very quickly. It's not a good kick.
Song's now gone down with a bit of an injury issue. Down at halfway.
This will be a bit of a blow for Singapore, although we do have reinforcements and that sort of department. Perhaps that is what is being ready now. They're looking at Amy Reka, who is going to come on there for Song. Well, there might have been some questions about his fitness over the last couple of matches. Didn't play at all in the previous game.
Didn't feature much at all for his club side, Lion City Sailors, on the domestic front. An injury issue towards the end of the domestic season. Not taking any chances. He's obviously not fit enough to continue, so Amy Reka gets an opportunity. Bit more pace up front. Some of that directness that he'll bring. That looked like a painful one, a head-to-head collision. Just run into each other. Sulfami and Patana.
They're both immediately going down.
Head-to-head collision. Bit of a strange one.
Michael Weiss sets his team. Really do something here. Be urging them forward. There's Chanta Visai. Now Choni. Swung in. Now Putavong.
Evan, up, go! Go, Paris! Good!
Putavong. This time doesn't get the better of Hafiz Noor. He was went down and thought he might get fouled, nothing doing. Down the line from Putavong. Pitak.
They're really controlling things against Singapore. Playing with lots of confidence, Laos. Another cross comes in.
Punched away by Hassan. Pressure continues.
They're looking nice and confident in possession, Laos. They look lively, it's good running off the ball. Quicker to pick up the second balls as well, ahead of those blue shirts.
Well, I'm sure Vietnam and Malaysia looking on at this one with interest. Of course, they are playing in a few hours' time. Actually, very shortly from now. Do you have anything to worry about watching Singapore?
Oh, Vietnam. Malaysia maybe, Singapore do they tend to lift their game. They play against Malaysia. That's the same for Malaysia, they'll lift their game as well. They are playing at home, they have that home ground advantage. But so far, I haven't really seen enough from Singapore over the last couple of matches. Myanmar won this one so far. It's been nothing that impressive. It's been quite workmanlike in a sense, but even then, there's also that panic, that element of panic that sets in.
stays down. Here's Chorny, who's testing Hassan Sunny again.
Could have caught him out at the near post. Effort from Chorny again into these spaces behind the wingbacks. Chorny's given a time and space to run into the area, invited to have a shot at goal. It's not even closed down once he does get into the box.
Yeah, he's been busy, hasn't he, Hassan Sunny, in this match. Probably a lot more than most people would have expected. Six shots so far for Laos. On target, Singapore with 8, 4 on target. And the possession is about 50-50.
You can really hear Hassan Sunny shouting out words of encouragement to his teammates.
So Shahiran is coming on. For Faris Rumley, and Ilhan Fundi is going off as well for Shawal Anwar.
Yeah, adding fresh legs, lots of pace and good movement up front with Shawal coming on. Bit of creativity with the Shah also stepping in. And a chance to rest those legs as well. Ilhan coming off, Faris coming off. They've got a big game next as well. Singapore, they do have to take care of business here this evening. But at the same time, it's one of those situations, because of how congested it is in terms of the fixtures, you do have to sort of think about what's coming up next. As much as you want to say one game at a time, there needs to be a plan, especially with the conditioning of the players. Recovery is so important.
So it appears that Shawal Anwar probably going into the spearhead the attack now. Shahiran scored his debut international goal for Singapore in the last game against Myanmar. Probably hoping for something similar here. A little bit of luck in that one for Myanmar. Here is Shah. Now Nazrul. That's away back Anantaza.
Well, he wants his side to keep passing the ball quicker, keep moving it. It's been far too much possession for Laos. Singapore do need a nice little phase of possession themselves.
Hafiz, he's done well. Goes down and gets the free kick. Fouled by Chorny.
That was good play, good pass by Shadan in behind for Hafiz. Nice vision. And the pass out, found its target. Hafiz smart enough here to take the contact, steps across the run of the challenge of Chorny rather.
Zulfami here to swing this in. So bodies that referee keeping a close eye again, making the message extremely clear. Hekamai on Irfan, who'd be the obvious target. That is well overhit.
Yeah, Irfan showing exactly where he wanted it. Zulfami looking to spend it towards the back post. Really not good enough with the delivery there. Not quite sure what he was looking for. Not that he was trying to score himself.
Here's Akamai, or rather Akvienkam. Now Zulfami. Touch on there from Shawal. Shah. The chance of that counter now is gone. They are still in possession here, Singapore. Reiterate again that goal difference could well be a deciding factor later on in this competition if any of the other games end in draws. Remember, Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia, all aiming for the top 2 spots. They would be the 3 favourites to take those 2 spots. Vietnam, Malaysia playing tonight. That would help give a slightly clearer picture as to what would be required. A little bit later on, Singapore play Vietnam later in the week on Friday, and then there's a big one, the so-called Causeway Derby, Singapore, Malaysia, on the final day of the group stages. All matches take place at the same time in the group. So, we've got a couple of changes here for Laos. Choni, who's been very, very bright today. He's replaced by Kidavon. Who's more of an out-and-out striker, the 23-year-old. And Pouvieng now comes on, the 20-year-old for Sukapon. So the man who celebrated his record-tying 54th cap today has come off.
Yeah, a bit more energy on the pitch now with those substitutes coming on, Kidavon and Pouvieng. Singapore just had that nice little phase of possession where they hung onto the ball for a little bit, took the sting out of the game. Still without being a real threat. And it is really strange to see Singapore having to hang on the way they are against Laos.
Yeah, they're certainly labouring, aren't they? Yes, Shah. He's done well here, Shah. Just too much on that pass to Shadan. And the urgency at the moment is being shown by Laos.
It's looking very laboured from Singapore. The quality is really lacking. It's lethargic.
Yeah, you made the point that actually there's no excuse for being tired.
I made 6 changes to the starting lineup,
right?
And you also had players who
only had half a game.
Half a game the first time around. So there really shouldn't be any sort of excuse for things like fatigue. The only two players who've got any excuse are Haris and Shadan.
Shah looking to get that up to Hafiz. Is there something more offensive they could tweak with what they've got on the pitch already? Or is there someone else they could introduce Singapore?
Well, let's look at the bench, and when you think about offensive options, they kind of have the offensive options out there with Emireka and Shawal Anwar in there, and even Shah Shahiran's been pushed into a position on the right side of that front three.
Yeah.
So, you know, they've already got those attacking options out there.
about Chris Van Huysen?
I don't think they'll risk him because
No?
of the issue that he had. Seems like he had a hamstring issue coming out in that last game against Myanmar. Only 2 matches now at the... I don't think the wingbacks... Well, not 2 matches. This match, I don't think the wingbacks have been very effective. And actually, you could actually say 2 matches now. Van Huysen, the only one who had a proper contribution in attack for Singapore in that game against Myanmar.
Longer, yeah. Well, there's Kinavon. Chanta Visai. It's a pretty wild attempt. It's closer to the corner flag, but it's a big thumbs up and applause from the coach.
Yeah, it looks good from Laos. I mean, again, you just want to keep their spirits up because they are playing well. You know, it's something you constantly want to encourage. This is certainly the best performance from Laos in this competition so far. They're actually constructing attacks. They're able to get the ball forward, they're able to progress it forward into attacking areas. They're actually having efforts at goal. Have caused a bit of panic at times.
Hafiz Noor. It's a yellow card. I don't recall where that one would have come from, but anyway, that's what we're being told. Josh Pereira. Crosses, 9 for Singapore, 8 for Laos. Just about 20 minutes or so left in this game, including a bit of added time. Takayushi Nishigaya, he surely can't be happy with what he's seen so far. Zulfami. Now Nazrul. Just drags that back. Harris. Switching that across to Hafiz Noor. Lovely control. Shadan. Now Irfan. Everyone inside the Laos half. Not something we've seen too often of tonight. Given away by Josh Pereira.
Where are they going? What are they doing in possession? I don't know what the plan is at the moment. It doesn't seem like there's any proper structure with it. There's no ideas. There's very little of that creativity in this game for Singapore. They hang on. They win 1-0. Even they sneak a second goal. That tired old trope is going to come out. A win's a win. 3 points in the bag, the most important thing. But it's 2 really unconvincing performances now.
They looked across at the assistant. Kinavon. I mean, that papers over the cracks, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, they're living dangerously. They did against Myanmar, and they were very fortunate that Myanmar weren't able to make the most of the opportunities. Laos doing the same here. They've had chances. They've not been able to, when they get into these areas, find the right sort of quality to create those high-quality opportunities. Again, yeah, Kinavon just trying to play it into the path of Ekamai. Straight into the arms of Hassan. They're getting in behind quite easily. Laos. Flag does go up for offside this time.
What are we doing now? Get up, wake up now!
Well, you can hear the frustration there.
Even the players will know. Whoever it was just there, it might have been Hassan.
What are we doing now?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Exactly right.
That was pretty much echoing what you're seeing on the pitch.
That's right. I mean,
you actually said, what is the plan?
Yeah, what is going on? What are they trying to do? I can't quite pick out what sort of ideas they have when they're in possession and it's so slow, it's so labored. You know, there's no, look at that. There's no cohesion, there's no structure.
They've given the ball away a lot, haven't they, Singapore tonight? Kinavon has been very lively since he's come on.
And you can't exactly say it's been a solid defensive performance as well. It hasn't.
Yeah, there's not been that much really to praise Singapore for today.
Hafiz pelan. Hafiz pelan. 2 minit ni, tak nampak saya.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Hafiz was told to just slow it down.
You know, a good sign is it when you can overhear players asking how many minutes left to go.
Benon. Benon.
Well, there'd be one thing you'd think, as much time as possible to try and bang those goals in. That would be the thought process. As long as it's 1-0, it's very, very precarious. Singapore looking to bring on a couple more players here. It looks like Chris Van Huysen and Ryan Stewart, two potential wing-backs. Mulay Tekrolov, Nazrul Nazari and Hafiz Noor. Haris Harun. These would be the last two changes for Singapore to try and force at least a second. Irfan. There's too much on that. Skips over Hafiz Noor. That could be his last contribution, or attempted contribution. And it is indeed. Hafiz Noor is off for Rahan Stewart. He made his tournament debut in the last match against Myanmar, coming off the bench.
The wing backs are being replaced, like for like, in that regard.
So Chris Van Huysen on for Nazrul Nazari.
I'll go on to the left. Let's see if he can make an impact with the quality of his crossing from wide positions. Very comfortable with sending crosses in. Both the left and right foot, Van Huysen.
Perhaps they, if he does indeed have any kind of fitness issue, they wonder whether they think they have to take a risk. And Laos too are going to complete their changes now. Ponsak, just 18 years of age. He's going to come on for Pitak. Ekamai is replaced by Sukpachan. Ekamai's had a brilliant game today. Did everything but score.
Haris is also having his say with the team. He's still trying to G them up and get them going. Trying to get them to lift their performances.
There's Josh Pereira. You can hear the directing operations. There's a very innocuous shot straight at the keeper.
An easy one for Gyodon.
So Ponsak makes his debut for his country today, the 18-year-old. Just turned 18 a couple months ago. Ponsak Sisabad. Sukpachan, we've seen him earlier on in the tournament. Also recently made his debut within this competition. Here's Emi Reka. Raihan Stewart goes down the line. Shah Shahiran looks up. Raihan took a deflection. It will be a corner.
Raihan and showing his ability. A very powerful player, gets forward in support. Nice underlapping run, receiving it from Shah. Placing it well over.
Yeah, excuse me, I thought that I had taken a deflection. That is, in that case, not the greatest of shots. Kutavov.
Go fall. Up, up.
To the new man in Bonsak.
Push them back, Dan, push them back. Joshua, you're right. Hang on, Dan.
Just took his eye off the ball there, the new man in, Bonsak. Sure must be feeling a little bit nervy. 18-year-old on his debut.
Go forward, go forward.
Here's Josh Pereira for Singapore into the final 10 minutes or so. Emireka. Looking to Shawalanwa, who's not really been able to get into this game since he was brought on. Mind, he's not really had the service either, has he?
There's been nothing going through. They found it difficult to progress the ball. And now Zulfami's gone down with an injury, clutching his hamstring.
And well, they cannot do anything about this, Singapore. They have to soldier on if he's unable to continue.
They made off their 5 subs. He's just going to have to find a way of carrying on here.
So this is the only goal of the game.
A rare bit of quality that we saw from Singapore this evening. We've seen from Singapore this evening. Delivery was spot on. Great finish with the header. Really powerful header from Irfan. Nice run. Laos punished there for really not tracking the runs that were made by Singapore.
Shadan's gone for goal and it's saved by Kyodon. It's gone out for a corner.
Yeah, good power behind that hit from Shadan. With Kyodon, nice height for him. At his near post as well.
Yeah, Singapore probably ruining the fact that the other 18-year-old in the squad today, or one of the other 18-year-olds, did not make his debut.
Yeah, but even then, they haven't created much.
Yeah,
they haven't created many chances to put pressure on the goalkeeper.
Emireka and Patana there. It's the best of crosses in.
I mean, delivery from a dead ball like that. Where's the quality?
There's a booking for Sukpachan. He's still tinkering around here. Shigaya. Emireka clatters into the keeper.
It's a really poor challenge by Emireka. He's not even looking at the ball at all. He's gone straight into Kyodon.
Okay, Evan, up, Evan, get out.
Fantastic ball in, is it? Bonsak.
Go, go, go!
Zulfami. Imireka. Just haven't seen anything of Chris Van Huysen yet.
Just protecting the ball there, Harris. Gets his body in the way so well. Really good in those situations, hanging on to it.
Now Van Huysen. Well, you're asking for quality deliveries, and that certainly wasn't it. Well overhit that one. And he is known for his quality delivery. Shah. Shawa on this right-hand side for now. They'll still be pressing for an equaliser. Laos, at the very least, they'll feel they've deserved something. Kidavon.
He's trying to win a goal kick for his side. There'll be frustration there. There'll be nerves there on that Singapore bench. And look at the tactical board all he wants, but it's the players out on the pitch who've got to step up and deliver.
They just look bereft of ideas. And they've got a corner to deal with here. This is one of those nervy moments for Singapore. Hassan claims that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, Laos with the score from a corner routine like this, from a set-piece situation with the disadvantage in the height that they have. Serious questions will have to be asked about that defense. Easy one for Hassan to clean up. Just unable to hang on to the ball against Singapore, just like it was against Myanmar, where they really pinned back and there's lots of panic, just no quality in possession, no willingness to hang on to it, to make the opposition chase, no game management.
No foul, Chris. No foul, no foul. No foul, Chris.
No fouls. Oh, there's another attempt. Scuffed. Yeah, he's urging his team. They feel that they're getting closer. Bonsak getting bodies.
Defending here was so poor from Van Huysen. He's just getting shouts of no foul, and perhaps that's playing on his mind a little bit. Doesn't want to be too aggressive, but really he needs to be winning it right there. It causes lots of issues as the ball's played in. It's just not strong enough from Van Huysen. Wants help from Pereira as the cover. As it goes in, there's enough of a challenge put in by Raihan Stewart just to throw off the final effort.
Bonsak scuffing his shot. There's yet another attempt here, and I think if we look at the stats, it's not much difference between the two sides. But it only seems like one team's really got the intent on building attacks, as you say.
And that's the home side. It actually looked pretty good with the ball.
Batana, here's Kidavon.
Harris, Menon, jauh. Menon.
There's a foul there, they're going to stop play into the final minute. Imireka is down.
They're going to take as long as they can with this.
Well, now it's just about preserving that 1-0, isn't it?
A foul given for a challenge on Shawal, not Emi Reka. It's Emi Reka here. Just gets stepped on. I don't think the free kick was awarded for that.
Tawal, cari tawal.
He's asking for more talking. There's been a lot of talking.
Yes.
There has been. You know, the leaders in the side have stepped up, but I mean, it's the feet they need to do the work. And that is absolutely not what has happened for Singapore.
Well, I think it says a lot that when that 5 minutes comes up, it's not Singapore looking happy that it's 5 more minutes to get a second goal. It is Laos delighted that they have a chance to get their first on the score sheet. Shawal putting that through for Emi Reka. I'm not sure what the idea was there from Shah Shahiran. That might just sum up things tonight. In a very good position potentially, weren't they?
Well, it's a good run here on his left, Emi. As he turns away, he completely shuts that off. Van Huysen was in Akers' space. A nice reverse pass into him, and he was into the penalty area. In the end, it's a move that fizzles out. And now they're under pressure once again.
4 minutes here, Singapore holding on a little. The flag has stayed down.
Want an offside for the first one there. The second effort that comes in goes well over from Sukpachan. Again, it looks shaky, and quite a bit of it is happening down at right-hand side for Laos. Van Huysen defensively, not quite there. It's not quite happening for him. Showing a bit of frustration as well. His teammates.
I suppose it'd been a very different story if it was 1-0, Singapore attacking and just having bad luck and good saves and woodwork.
The performance hasn't been good.
It's not been that, has it?
That's the thing. There's no control in the game. You don't get that sense that this is something they've got sewn up. This is a game that they're able to manage, that they'll be able to see out. They're giving it away. They look shaky at the back, and they're allowing Laos to go and attack them.
Singapore have only ever lost once to Laos. That was back in 1970. 3-0 defeat in the King's Cup. They've won 10 times. A 9-game winning run in this fixture.
Remember when you're talking about that 11-0 win for Singapore?
Seems a whole world away, doesn't it? Harris Harun with the header. Right-hand Stewart. Harris just gets it away. Kyodom. We'll probably send it back into the mix, no? Here's Anantaza. He's closed down here, and Singapore with a chance. Shawal Anwar and Emi Reka have been dying to do something up there since their introduction. Kyodon. Was that a moment of madness from him? Shawal Anwar gets the goal. He's barely been in this, but he's got the all-important second.
Well, that should do it now for Singapore. A huge mistake by Kyodon, and you really feel for Laos. They were pushing, they created chances. And with a couple of minutes to go in this one, you felt like there might have been just enough time for at least 1 or 2 more final opportunities for the home side. Instead, with this huge mistake, a credit to Shawal. He doesn't give up on it. He goes and closes down Kyodon. Doesn't allow him to play an easy pass out. Then as he's bearing down on goal, sits the goalkeeper down, takes it past him, calmly finishes. And that should be that now. Singapore surely headed to 3 points.
Kenakan dia, Syah.
You don't sound so sure of that. Just the way they've played, perhaps. I think you mentioned about 20 minutes ago that even a second goal here is just kind of glosses over things a little bit.
The performance hasn't been good enough. And once again, you find yourself saying that. And yes, they'll say the most important thing is they got away with the 3 points. They picked up the 3 points. Yeah, wins are important in a tournament like this. But if this Singapore side shows up like this, the next 2 games against Vietnam and Malaysia, they are going to get torn apart. You kind of fear for them. That next game against Vietnam coming up.
Oh, yeah. It's a very poor ball. Still alive though for Laos. They'll get a corner. We've had the 5 minutes.
Ball, look at the ball.
Next objective for Singapore is to keep that clean sheet. Goal difference though, not where they want it. The referee has called time. Will Singapore continue their 100% record against Laos in this competition at 7 wins out of 7? And if you're a Singapore fan looking for crumbs of comfort, every time Singapore have beaten Laos in the group stages of this competition, that's 4 times previously, they've gone on to win the AFF Championship. If you believe in that sort of thing. But I think you'd have to be the most optimistic of fans at the moment, Roshan.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's a huge lift in their performances over the next couple of games or so, I'm afraid it's going to be tough times for Singapore. They're looking at a group stage exit unless they lift their performances, or they're able to eke out this result in the next 2 matches against a much stronger opposition in Vietnam and Malaysia. Listen, on the one hand, they'll say, we got the job done, we got the win on the road. 2 wins from 2 now, positive start to the campaign. In that sense, when you look at the table as well, performance-wise, there's a lot of room for improvement. And a few things they will need to work on with the tougher challenges that lie ahead.
So a goal from Irfan Fandi around the half-hour mark. A powerful header in. And then a very, very late goal from substitute Shawal Anwar, taking advantage of a lapse in concentration there from Kyo-don. Perhaps just papers over what's been a very substandard performance from Singapore. They leave here the National Stadium KM16 winners. It ends Laos 0, Singapore 2. And an interesting Group B now starting to shape up as we look at the statistics. Really nothing much in this one.
Yeah, really, there's no real control from Singapore in this match. You can see Laos with the attempts that they had. Yeah, Singapore had more of those attempts on target. How many of those were real high-quality chances as well? And Laos did have their opportunities, couldn't quite take them. But it was a really encouraging performance from the home side, even if Singapore do go away with all 3 points in this one.
Yeah, a combination of Laos playing very, very well. Singapore nowhere near their best. And this is how the table looks. Malaysia and Singapore now top with 6 points each, but look at that goal difference. It's +3 in favour of Malaysia. A massive game coming up now between Vietnam and Malaysia. That could change that goal difference today if Vietnam get a win, and a decent one as well. We leave you here now at the National Stadium KM16 then, with Singapore getting the 3 points that they so badly needed.
Absolutely heartbreak there, but arguably one of the most impressive performance since the start of the tournament. How do you feel about your team performance today?
Today we have confidence. We have 2 matches and we play with experienced player, Malaysia, Vietnam, and today we play again with Singapore. One team, good team, but we get together and improve because many young boys for our team. I think we play good today in the home, but we lose. Okay.
Today you are equaling the record of 54 appearances for Laos national team. You are one of two players who play most for Laos. What do you feel about this moment?
Again.
You are equaling the record of 54 appearances for Laos national team, most for Laos national team. What do you feel about this moment?
My feeling about this national team is many match. I very happy because I want to use my country up to level in the South ASEAN. Yeah.
Thank you. This is your second ever international goal, and most importantly, it has helped Singapore win the games. How does it mean to you?
Of course, it's always an honor to score for my country. I'm very happy I could help my team tonight. It was a really tough game. They were coming at us really hard, so this is an honor to score my country and help my team because I was out the last game, so I'm happy that I could help this game.
Now, all of your three brothers, Ishan, Ilhan, and you, have scored in the AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup. So, what does it mean to the families?
Again, it's an honor, and we hope to keep doing it and keep up the family name, and score more for Singapore.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.